welcome to my channel. Thanks for checking out this video. If you're new here, my name's Ann Epiphany and I've been self-converting a 32-foot GMC Bluebird into a mobile tattoo and art studio in the front and tiny home in the rear. I have two Huskies, Rogue and Star, and a teeny little cat named Audrey. And this week we're going to start out by heading into Lowe's and getting some stuff for plumbing. All right. Good morning. About to get an energy drink and get started with the day. Let's do some plumbing. Okay, it's super windy today, but first thing I've got to do under the bus with installing this tank is, I don't know if you can see this dent here. I have to try to hammer that out so that the tank will fit up in there. That's what I'm getting ready to do. I'll put you on time lapse while I attempt this with this guy. So this should be a drinking game. Every time I say so, you take a shot. I say it a lot. You can still see the dent, obviously. But the good news is, even though you can see the dent from the outside, there's enough room on the inside for the water tank, which is the important thing right now. Aesthetically, I can mess with that eventually. There's still a lot of stuff on the bus that I want to fix up, so on the, as far as the outside and everything. So the main thing is getting this going, and I think once I do the mural and stuff all on the outside, it's not gonna be super obvious anyway. But yeah, next thing up is I'm gonna go ahead and drill holes where the plumbing is all gonna come out through the flooring, and I just have to make sure that my measurements are right so I avoid the ribs and everything that are underneath the bus. So that's what I'm gonna do next. All right, so I just drilled a hole here for the urine diverter. The moment of truth is, let's see if I avoided the rims and stuff. There we are. So literally just enough room for a pipe right there. It's an 1.5-inch pipe. That's literally just enough room for that. And then luckily we'll be able to run it through here, and then I gotta figure out how to connect everything, obviously. I realize most of you haven't seen the shower, mind you, nowhere close to finished, but just so you can see like the size and everything, this is what we're looking at. And I still gotta finish, I'm redoing the ceiling and everything, but yeah, I can stand up in here and twirl around. So plenty big enough, but I just wanted to give you a little preview. I'm getting ready to drill the hole here, figure out where I'm gonna put the drain. stormy today, so I apologize for how dark it is in here. But, so I only went down to the metal here. So this is for my urine diverter, obviously. But I only went down to the metal here because this is 1.5 inch piping that's going to be coming from this. And then down below, I'm going to do an elbow right at the bottom, and I'm going to try to get it as close as possible so that I can go in between the ribs towards the water tank. So that being said, I want to do the metal part underneath a little bit bigger so that I can get the elbow a little bit closer to the top, or at least have a little bit more flexibility with that. So that's the idea anyway. So what I'm gonna do is, before I cut that, I'm gonna take some of the 1.5 inch pipe down there. I'm gonna make sure that it'll fit in between those ribs really nicely. And if it does, then I'm gonna do 2 inch underneath to make room for that elbow. If not, then I'll just drill completely through with the 1.5 inch. Morning, everybody. I'm getting ready to do a live in the chat for this Sunday's video here in about 10 minutes. Oh, I'm going to, I've got an energy drink somewhere. I'm about to crack that open. After the live chat, I'm going to be going and getting all the steel bars and everything like that. And then it's gonna be time to get under the bus and start preparing the mount for the water tank. These are the steel rods that I'm going to be using that you saw me cut previously. I also have 3/8 by 1.5 inch lag screws that are going to be holding these on. I'm going to be using some of this JB weld. And then I also have 1/2 inch flat washers, lock nuts, or regular nuts, and then lock washers as well that are 1/2 inch that are going to be used to be holding the rods on as well. But you'll see what I'm talking about when I get going. Just really quick, I hope you can hear me okay, but always mask up and make sure you have eye protection on when you are drilling these holes. Metal flakes are everywhere. Like you can see, I've just been doing this like 4 or 5 holes that I've done, and I'm already covered in metal flakes, so definitely gear up first. That's all. Back to the drilling. Okie dokie. So now it is time. This right here, I put a washer. This is 3/8. This is what's going to screw in. It's going to go through these holes. I'm doing 6 in each one. And then I'm going to put a little bit of JB weld on here as well as I screw this in with the socket set. So wish me luck here. Okay, transparency. I fucked up. So, the deal is, I did not check the depth of these, and I bought those before I bought the spring nets that go inside. I'll show you. So, because they were sold out when I went originally, so I went back to get them. So I didn't have this with me. And this was really the only one they had when I bought this, and I cut it, you know? So I didn't have them both at the same time. And the issue is, if you look, you can see how thick this is. There's not much space above that. Definitely not enough space for my setup that I was gonna do, which was a washer, lock, washer, and then a nut with this. Nowhere near enough room. So, I'm having to improvise. So, what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is, these are just barely screwed in right now because I wanted to make sure they would actually screw into the holes that I made. So I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is I have this JB weld, right? Now this is 3,127 PSI, which is pounds per square inch, right? So what I'm thinking about doing is taking some of that, which I've been putting on all the screws and on top of these as well when I installed them. I'm gonna put some on the rod itself before I screw it in. Then I'm also gonna put it on the washer, the lock washer, and the nut, and then screw all of that up. And in theory, that should be plenty strong enough to hold the 800-pound water tank. But yeah, for now, that's what I think I'm gonna do. I might still get somebody to sort of just weld it a little bit too later on. I don't know. I'm gonna test and see how strong it is. I don't know how I'm gonna test it yet, but somehow I'm gonna test it. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ponder it a little bit longer, and then I'll catch back up with you when I have a game plan for sure.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth around you.
So I'm back under the bus. It's been a couple days since I saw you last, and that's because the weather was it was so cold. But I wanted to let you know that I did get all of these up. I was literally under the bus for like 10 hours. It was ridiculous. But these are all up, and I used the JB Weld. It was the one that's like over 3,000 PSI. I used the bolts that you saw, plus these are self-tapping screws, all with those big washers, so it's a nice snug fit in here. Like they're too big to even come down past this, even if they were loose. And then I went ahead and did the same thing here that I told you about earlier in the video. But that's all set and dry now at this point, which is nice. It feels really secure. So that's gonna be it for this week's video. Thanks so much for watching, and the weather is gonna be great this week, so I'm hoping to get the plumbing finished, if at all possible. But I'm starting, I believe, with the shower. So I'll see you Sunday where you can see what I'm actually doing. Love you, bye.